This is Covering the Spread, part of the FanDuel Podcast Network.
Big week on tap in the NFL because not only do we have some pretty fun games in week 10, but also just had the trade deadline on Tuesday and a lot of key moves there. Dallas Cowboys picking up Quinnen Williams, the Indianapolis Colts bolstering their secondary with Sauce Gardner. Today we're going to talk to Minty Bets, get her read on that Colts edition. And does this make the Colts a higher upside team, a potential Super Bowl contender? Then we'll dive into NFL Week 10 matchups and see where Minty is seeing value at FanDuel Sportsbook. Welcome on into Covering the Spread, a FanDuel Research podcast. My name is JimSannes. I am a managing editor for FanDuel Research. Joined here, as mentioned, by Minty Bets. You can find her on social media at Minty Bets across most of those platforms there. Check her out on the FanDuel socials as well. Minty, happy week number 10. How you doing today?
I'm doing well, and I can't believe week 10. I feel like every week I'm on the show, I'm like, I can't believe it's week 4 or 9 or whatever. But yeah, it is flying by. We are over halfway through the season. It's crazy.
Yeah. We started doing some content planning for Thanksgiving week, and that made me anxious and sad and happy all at the same time because Thanksgiving is such a good football week, but it's also a big work week, and it also means we're close to the end of the season. So when you plan ahead far enough, it puts your brain into an even bigger pretzel.
Yeah, it does indeed. And I mean, Halloween crept up on me. Normally
Yes.
I do Halloween costume content, but sports related. And I just didn't get to do it. I was Halloween's today. That's crazy. But yeah, Thanksgiving really truly marks a big milestone for the NFL season. You're right. That means we're almost at the end here.
Oh, it is tragic. And luckily, the NFL keeps giving us little nuggets to keep things exciting. Yes, it's a bummer we're closer to the end, but we get these fun things like the Tuesday trade deadline where a lot of stuff went down. So we're going to talk to Minty about implications of that trade deadline before digging into some key matchups for this week, including Patriots at Bucks, Rams at Niners, and Steelers versus Chargers, and then get Minty's favorite bets for this week. But first, a reminder to make sure you're subscribed to the Covering the Spread podcast feed and FanDuel Football Betting YouTube page. We already have our College Football Week 11 show with Dr. Ed Fengup getting his read on key games across college football Week 11. I'll also talk about some playoff futures, SEC futures with Ed there as well. That is up on the Covering the Spread podcast feed and FanDuel Football Betting YouTube page. Tomorrow, Liv Moods will join me breaking down NFL Week 10 player props as well. To get those shows as they're posted, subscribe to Covering the Spread in the podcast feed or the FanDuel Football Betting YouTube page. Leave us a 5-star rating on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, and thumbs up on YouTube, and also turn on notifications on YouTube as well. The race to the NFL playoffs is on, and if you're betting on FanDuel this season, here are some things to keep in mind. Number 1, celebrate your wins responsibly when your bet hits. It's important to never leave a high five hanging. That's just good sportsmanship. Number 2, no kickoff? No problem. Live betting means you're free to jump into the game anytime. And number 3, if you're a new customer, bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. And now you're ready to play your game on FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Must be 21 plus and present in select states. For Kansas, in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino, or 18 plus and present in DC, Kentucky, or Wyoming. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Or visit rg-help.com. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/Chat Connecticut. Visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts, or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York. Let's begin things with the trade deadline back on Tuesday and talk about those Colts because Minty, I'm not sure about you, but I've been pretty low on the Colts defense this year. The underlying metrics on them were not great. And they said, don't worry about it. We got a guy to solve those problems. Traded for Sauce Gardner, a couple first-round picks going to the Jets there. So let's talk about their ceiling, because I think we can establish that they're good. But can they be great? What to you is the ceiling for this Colts team now that they are starting to patch together that defense?
Although Sauce Gardner's production in recent years has declined a bit, he is still in his prime, and a top-tier corner like Sauce Gardner can help them shut down one side of the field. Now, the Colts were a strong playoff team, and now they're a legit Super Bowl contender with this trade. However, giving up 2 first-round draft picks means there's a lot less margin for error. It is a very risky move that they did. It's almost like a now or never kind of deal, and all in. And I really do believe in them, and I'm rooting for them to make it all the way. But this is a great step in fixing their defense. It just seems like their offense is what carried them, but now they're almost a complete team here.
Yeah, and as I stand right now at FanDuel Sportsbook, they're 10-1 to win the whole thing. That ranks third among AFC teams. They trail the Chiefs at 6-1 and the Bills at 7-1. Other teams in the AFC, you got to get dipped down to the Ravens 17-1 and the Broncos 18-1. So it seems like from a tiering perspective, it's Chiefs and Bills tier 1, and then Colts are tier 2 kind of by themselves before you get down to the rest of the conference. Do you kind of agree with the way that things are tiered out there, where it's Chiefs, Bills, Gap, Colts, Gap, and then the rest?
Yeah, I do actually, because there's always going to be money on the Chiefs, Bills, Lions, Eagles every year. But I think it's pretty spot on. Rams, Colts, Packers. I mean, those are the teams that people are like, oh, they're underrated. They could go far. No one's talking about them. So yeah, this is actually pretty accurate. I have no complaints here. And man, there's so many teams in the AFC that I want to put money on to win it all, but then it would kind of defeat the purpose of making money. But the AFC is pretty good.
It's getting better. And
Yeah.
I think that's intriguing because it had like this slow start to the year where it's like, okay, the Chiefs are 0-2. The Bills had that weird loss to the Falcons and stuff like that. The Ravens obviously were struggling, but now Lamar Jackson is healthy again. The Chiefs have Rashee Rice, and yeah, they lost against the Bills, but I'm still fine with that. And I think the Colts have also bolstered the AFC by proving that they're more legitimate than we may have thought they were initially. So the AFC is looking a lot better than what it was before. And honestly, from a very selfish perspective, I'm hoping the Colts get the 1 seed, not because I'm rooting for the Colts, because I like dome games. If we can get the AFC Championship game in Indy as opposed to in cold weather in Buffalo or Kansas City, I'm kind of okay with that. So just from a very stupid and very selfish perspective, I kind of want the Colts to win the 1 seed.
Very good point. The way to look ahead there. We were talking about looking ahead at Thanksgiving, and now you're looking way ahead. So that's very good.
It would be a good problem to have, having to, poor Jim, having to watch a game indoors. I think that would be pretty good. So we'll see what the Colts can do.
Story if you were actually outside in one of those cold weather games, but you're watching from the comfort of your own home, I'm assuming.
I just want points. That's all I want. I want points. I want touchdowns scored. So that's my perspective on that. And luckily the Bills and Chiefs can do that anywhere. But the Colts, I agree. Ceiling has gotten a lot better as if they can shore up that defense, because that was the one concern that I still had lingering there. Let's dig in to some games across week number 10 at FanDuel Sportsbook, beginning with the Patriots and the Buccaneers. It is the Tom Brady Bowl right now at FanDuel Sportsbook. Bucks favored by 2.5, and the total in this game is 48.5. And I was kind of hoping the Bucks would be getting a bit healthier on offense. And then it came out on Wednesday that no Chris Godwin at practice Wednesday, no Buck Irving at practice Wednesday. Pretty big bummer. I do still think they'll get Luke Gedeke, their right tackle, back for this game, but they're still not fully healthy. So it's a good Patriots team facing a Bucs team that's still not 100%. What's your read on this game, Minty?
Man, Tampa Bay is coming off a bye, so they do have that extra rest and prep time, but it looks like Drake May and the Pats cannot be stopped with 6 straight wins. I think it'll be a really good test for them to see how they fare against stronger opponents. I know in week 5, they did win against the Bills, but that was a 3-point game. And Pats plus the points could be a very public dog pick this week. I kind of do lean the Bucs at home minus 2.5. I mean, those injuries are already baked into the number, and it'll be a sweaty one. I don't believe it will be an easy win for the Bucs, but perhaps a more confident bet for me, and maybe a more contrarian bet. I really like the first half under 23.5 points. Now, I know both of these teams can score early on, but man, I've been riding first half unders, and they've been pretty profitable. I'm picky and choosy with my spots, and this one seems like everyone would take the over. I would go under.
I took the under for the full game. So I agree with you as far as being skeptical of points in this game. And I took the under while knowing that there was a chance that I regretted that because of the possibility for Irving and Godwin to be back. And I was okay with that risk because I was pretty far below where the market was, frankly. And part of it comes down to one thing you mentioned. The schedule the Patriots have faced. You talk about the Bills, they're obviously a very good team. But if we look at like the actual defenses they faced only one top 10 defense by number fires metrics so far this year. And the Buccaneers are currently ranked 5th, which is weird, frankly, because they've had some injuries on defense too, but Todd Bowles is a magician. He's done this for his entire career where he is able to stuff the run and yet somehow still generate pressure on the opposing defense. Now, probably no Hassan Reddick for this game, but if you look at this Patriots offense, I would say their one weakness outside of running the football has been they do let up a good amount of pressure. So you're facing a defense that's played pretty well this year. Todd Bowles is a psychopath in terms of like generating pressure, especially on young quarterbacks. And I do still think the Bucs or the Patriots offense will play okay in this game. And I wouldn't be shocked if they do win this game. But I don't think we're going to see a whole ton of points based on that. So you're taking the first half under 23.5 at even money. I think that makes a lot of sense based on Todd Bowles, again, being a wizard and continually generating pass rush, even if his team may not be the most talented defense he's ever had.
Right. And I think a lot of people are, I mean, although the Bucs are the best team in the NFC South, everyone is underestimating them. And I think there's just too much hype around the Patriots now. So yeah. I like the Bucs, but yeah, I'm loving the under. So I'm glad we're kind of on the same side here.
It'll be a good test of the Patriots. I'm excited for that. Like whether they pass or fail, I just want the data. And I think we're going to get some good data from them in this game for sure.
Yes.
Let's talk now about a fun NFC West game. I feel like every NFC West game is fun right now. So maybe that's a little bit redundant to say, but either way, it is the Rams at the 49ers. Right now at FanDuel Sportsbook, Rams favored by 4.5. And the total in this game is 49.5. We've seen some movement on this spread. It was 4.5, then bounced to 3.5, now back out to 4.5. And the total was 50.5, now back down to 49.5. So a lot of movement in this game. It's a rematch, obviously, that Thursday night game where the Niners had no players and still managed to beat the Rams there. So, Minty, do the Niners have enough juice to do it again as 3.5-point underdogs at home?
Man, this is always a tough matchup for me because San Francisco has been so inconsistent this season and so injured. And because of this, I do lean the Rams to win. Their run defense is good. Their passing defense also better than San Fran's. And offensively, they're just healthier. Brock Purdy's status is still unknown at time of recording. So I definitely lean more into Rams. But to cover 3.5, 4.5 points in a divisional matchup is just really, really tricky. It's a stay away from me. I can make a case for both, but I lean Rams to win. I don't know if they cover, though. What do you think?
I think 4.5 is a lot.
Yeah,
because you're getting across 3, and obviously that's going to be a tough number to cover either way. My numbers love the Rams. Like they are very high in this Rams team based on what they've done so far this year. Matthew Stafford is healthy. Puka Nacua is healthy. They look very good. But 4.5 is a big number with this game being in Santa Clara. So that'd be my concern there. So I feel like I'm in the same boat as you, where I think the Rams will play well here. I think they are very likely to win this game. However, 4.5 is just a big number, given that even with Mac Jones out there, even with no Ricky Pearsall for the Niners, they've been pretty feisty. I think my worry would be this Niners defense. They keep on losing dudes effectively, it feels like. So I think that to me, it winds up being the same thing. I've got the Rams by 4.2. So I feel like I'm in the same park as you, where I think that they win, but getting them to cover, that's more of a tough ask for me to see with them.
Yeah, there's nothing strong enough to make you feel like you will back the Rams confidently. So I'm feeling there. Stay away from me. Divisional matchups, especially like NFC West or NFC North, they're so tough.
Yeah. And with the Rams or with the Niners, I've just given up on trying to project Brock Purdy. Like every week, I've got the adjustment in for the Niners. They've got Purdy back. They've got Kittle back. Maybe Pearsall's back. And then I have to downgrade them later in the week. And that we went through that song and dance like 6 times, and I'm just fed up. So I decided just we'll figure it out later in the week. We'll let it run. Assume it's Mac Jones. Kyle Shanahan has never told a fact in his life. So I'm just going to let it run and see what happens. And I'll deal with it later if Purdy winds up. And I'll be happy if he plays. I love watching Brock Purdy, but I just don't want to go through the torture of adjusting on Monday, readjusting Friday. It just became too much for me.
Yeah, it is way too much. Too much maintenance. We'll just stay away.
Always high maintenance are the Kyle Shanahan 49ers. So stay away for us between the Rams and the Niners. Pretty fun game on Sunday Night Football. That is between the Los Angeles Chargers and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Right now, FanDuel Sportsbook, Chargers are favored by 3. Total in this game is at 45.5. Chargers will not have Joe Alt in this game or for the rest of the season. He has another high ankle sprain, so needs surgery this time around. That is a big bummer, but they are still favored by 3 here against Pittsburgh. So, Minty, any bets stand out to you as the Chargers host the Steelers?
Man, Pittsburgh is 3-4 against the spread as underdogs dating back to December of last year. And I usually always take the points with the Steelers and, sprinkle a little for the upset. But for this one, the total intrigues me more than anything, 45.5. It feels like it could be a sneaky shootout. The Chargers scoring defense isn't that strong, and Pittsburgh gave up an average of almost 30 points per game in their last 3. I really like the over in this one. As for side, betting against the Chargers has not fared well for me, and betting on them also not very good. So I lean Pittsburgh here to cover and possibly win straight up. But yeah, I like the total a lot, 45.5 over.
And it all comes down, I think, to how you feel about the Steelers defense. Like, do you think they've solved all their issues? And it's possible that they have, but also it's important to keep in mind that, like, it wasn't that long ago that we saw them getting shredded by Joe Flacco on that weird Thursday night game. I don't think that one good game against where Daniel Jones had some issues, the receivers had some drops. I don't think that alleviates all the issues we've had with the Steelers defense. Jordan Love played well against them in the second half of that game too. So Steelers defense, I'm still skeptical of. And frankly, the offense has been good, I would say. Like, you look at the underlying numbers on this offense, they've played, I don't know about you, but they played a lot better than my expectations coming into this year, which I think is pretty intriguing. So looking at my model for this game, I got a 47.3. So also above market here as far as the total goes. And I think that the Steelers offense is doing a large part of that. So I've got a downgrade for the Chargers offense with Joe Alt. Like that, I got a downgrade for that. But it still winds up leaning towards the over due to the Steelers offense more than anything. So I kind of agree with you where I don't want to treat the Steelers defense as if they're fixed just because they had one good game. And this offense is better than expectations. So I do think we'll see some points here, which could be a fun setup for sure.
Yeah, offense definitely. I agree with you. Better than I expected with Aaron Rodgers. Defense not as dominant as years past. So that's kind of also like why I really like the over here. Again, think it could be a sneaky shootout.
I feel like coming into the year, there was some, I feel like it's just like, the Mike Tomlin magic people. That's why people were like, okay, we've got to be receptive to the Steelers too. But it was revolving around the defense and like thinking they'll patch it together with this offense not being any good. And for whatever reason, it's been the exact opposite, where the offense has been the catalyst to them being good. Now Calvin Austin is back too. He's been fun. The 3 tight end sets are pretty fun. So I've actually weirdly enjoyed them. And I'm okay admitting that at this point. Like, it was a guilty pleasure team, I would say, earlier in the year, where it's like I'm kind of embarrassed that I'm enjoying watching the Steelers. Now I'm like unabashed about it. Yeah, they're kind of just fun. And Arthur Smith's like annoying and weird, but like he produces efficient offenses, so I can't hate on it.
Yeah, hey, they are fun. And if I were to choose any team in the AFC South or North right now, it's the Steelers. Like, they're fun. The Bengals, sucks. Joe Burrow's not there to do his thing. And the Ravens, they have a tall, steep hill to climb. I think the Steelers could win the division. I really do. And they are very fun to watch, and they're sneaky good.
They are a very resilient team, for better or for worse. So both Minty and I looking at the over here, 45.5, which is currently minus 105 between the Chargers and the Steelers. All right, Minty, let's open up the board right now. When we look at the other games across week 10 in the NFL, where else are you seeing value this week?
Okay. I've got 2 picks I have not fired on yet, but 2 that are really intriguing for me right now. We're going Vikings, Ravens. I like the first half number for the Vikings, plus 2.5. I wish I can get a 3, but I'm not going to be that greedy because I actually do think the Vikings can actually win the first half. But Minnesota has scored on 63% of first half possessions, and Baltimore can be a bit streaky. I really think the Vikings should be able to keep this one close early. So give me the Vikings plus 2.5 in the first half over the Ravens. And then my second play is, I kind of like the Bucks minus 2.5 over the Patriots. It's just a strong lean though. So we'll see if the Pats win streak can be broken here by Tampa Bay. And as mentioned earlier, New England could be a very public dog and kind of want to stay away from that. I really, again, love the first half under 23.5. Again, we're on the total of the under here. I'm banking on the Bucs off a bye at home. So yeah, first half under and Bucs win and cover.
And that defense for the Buccaneers could be a key catalyst again, not just for the under, but also for them potentially winning this game by more than 2.5 points. So Minty is laying the 2.5 with the Buccaneers. Want to go back with to that Vikings game. JJ McCarthy last week, I thought had his issues for sure. And like, that's to be expected with a guy making his third career start. But it's important to think back to this Lions defense, the one that he was facing. A couple weeks ago, they shut down Baker Mayfield. And part of that's because Mike Evans got hurt mid-game. And, that's going to happen. But, like, the Lions defense has been pretty good this year. So McCarthy having some issues, even though Alex Anzalone and Aiden Hutchinson looked pretty good in that game, I thought was super intriguing, which is part of why I took the over in this game when it was 47.5. It's up to 48.5 now. So the value there is mostly dried up. But, like, I liked what I saw from the Vikings. They're healthy along the offensive line now, healthier than they were. The interior is still a bit banged up, but they've got Brian O'Neill and Christian Darrisaw back now. Jordan Addison is there. We've only got a 1-game sample on the Vikings with McCarthy, Darrisaw, and Addison, and they look pretty dang good. So I don't mind taking the 2.5 there in the first half just because they looked pretty good. And I don't mind continuing to buy in this Vikings offense because, again, 1-game sample, they looked okay. They're back at home here against a Ravens defense that is better, but still probably pretty flawed. I don't think that's a terrible setup at all.
Yeah, no, not at all. And Ravens defense, yes, they are a little better, but still ranked fairly poorly. And I think maybe there will be a little bit of recency bias in that Ravens almost shutout against Miami last week, I think. And yeah, so I think there's actually Vikings are being really undervalued. I think they could win this whole game, but just to be safe, we're going to do the first half.
I think that makes a lot of sense. Minty taking the first half plus 2.5 for the Vikings and laying the 2.5 with the Bucs as well. That is all that we have here for today on covering the spread. Big thank you once again to you, Minty, for joining us for today, breaking down your thoughts on NFL week number 10. Enjoy the football this weekend. We'll talk to you once again soon.
Thank you so much for having me.
You can find Minty on social media at MintyBets all across social media, and of course on the FanDuel socials as well. I am on X and Blue Sky at JimSannes, on Threads at Jim.Sannes, and you can find FanDuel Research on X at FanDuel Research. Big thank you to our YouTube producer, Justin Lane, for his work on the video side of things. Thank you, Justin, as always, and thank you to everyone for tuning in. Good luck to you with your bets NFL Week 10. Back again tomorrow, talk about some player props for this week as well. This has been Covering the Spread, a FanDuel Research podcast.